In this tutorial, I'll walk you through creating your very first Flexbook activity in Moodle. If you've used the interactive video plugin before, this process will feel quite familiar. To add a Flexbook, just like any other Moodle course activity, navigate to your course page. Click Activity or Resource and select Flexbook from the activity chooser. Start by entering a title for the activity. Next, you can input the activity description and choose where it will be displayed. The end screen text is optional. Use this space to provide learners with instructions on their next steps. The primary content type setting allows you to select a custom activity icon that best represents the main content of your Flexbook. For this example, I'll select External Content. Now let's look at the appearance and behavior settings. You have the option to apply a theme specifically to this activity. Flexbook is built on the standard Boost theme. If your Moodle site uses a custom theme and you encounter any display issues, selecting the Boost theme here can resolve them. You can upload a cover image, which will be displayed on the start screen. Select an aspect ratio here if you prefer a fixed canvas size. Below, you'll find other appearance settings to explore on your own. It's important to note that these settings are divided into two categories: before completion and after completion. Completion is defined by the conditions you set further down. The behavior settings are straightforward and are also organized into two groups. You can assign a grade for the Flexbook activity. This grade is calculated based on the experience points, XP, the learner earns. Finally, let's review the completion conditions. There are two automatic completion options available. The minimum completion percentage is based on the proportion of interactions completed within the Flexbook. The require reaching the end condition is met when the learner arrives at the final end screen. Let's save and view the activity. Since this Flexbook has no content yet, you'll see a notification when you try to start the book. Now let's add some interactions. Click Add to create the first interaction. By default, you'll see 5 interaction types: chapter, content bank item, external content, rich text, and video. However, you can download and install additional interaction types as needed. For instance, PDF document allows you to display a PDF, and Minigame enables you to embed HTML games. Let's add a rich text interaction. First, enter the title here. Then, input the main content here. This is a rich text editor, so you can include any content you wish. You can track the completion of this interaction by choosing one of the options here. You can also specify the minimum time a learner must spend on the interaction before they can mark it as complete. You can award learners experience points, XP, for completing the interaction. This XP will be converted into a grade in the gradebook. If necessary, you can also configure more advanced settings here. Refer to the description below each setting for details on its function. I'll go ahead and click Save Changes. Here is a preview of the interaction. To quickly edit the title or the experience point value, simply right-click on the corresponding text. Press Enter to save your changes. Click here to open the Action menu. To add a new interaction immediately after this one, select Insert After. Next, let's try an external content interaction. I'm going to use a PDF file hosted on my Google Drive. Click Save Changes to add the interaction. You can drag and drop the interactions to rearrange their order. Be sure to click Save to apply the changes. The editor also supports bulk actions. Hold down Control or Command on Mac while clicking interactions to select multiple. You can then drag and drop, duplicate, or delete all selected interactions at once. Finally, the editor supports file drag and drop. You can drop multiple files simultaneously. Interactions will be created based on the supported file extensions. I'll add an H5P activity from a file I have saved on my computer. The interaction is created using default settings, which you can edit to suit your requirements. Let's enable the save state setting for this activity. Now let's look at the player page. Here you can toggle the interaction menu. Use these buttons to navigate back and forth between interactions. The Share button allows you to share a direct link to a specific interaction, which is useful for discussions or references. And here's the full screen toggle. Let's try out these interactions. Next, let's examine the report page. Each row represents an individual learner's record. It shows their start and completion times for the Flexbook, the total XP earned, and the individual XP and status for each interaction. At the top, you can click on an interaction title to launch a preview. When you hover over the XP cell, a delete icon will appear. Clicking this icon will reset the completion status of that specific interaction for that user. Depending on the interaction type, you may also click on the cell to view detailed activity reports. To reset the entire Flexbook for a student, click the Delete button next to their name. Finally, let's look at the gradebook. Before we switch, note the XP earned. This user earned 100% of the total available XP. Here is the grade for the Flexbook displayed in the gradebook. That concludes our first guide on how to create a Flexbook activity on Moodle. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.